All right, welcome back, everyone. This is where we left off. We have our Django form, and we're going to be working with our Django form to actually be able to submit all of our fields. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to make a specific set of fields required, right? So let's see. We know that our title is required. We need a title. We know that we need authors. Oh, sorry, genres. We know we also need this. What else do we need? And we need that. Okay. So now if I try to submit it, and I just click submit, it's gonna tell me, hey, please put something in there. So I put something. It's gonna tell me to fill that out. So one. Interesting. So this one has an automatic from what it looks like. All right, it will automatically set to the first option. And these three weren't clicked, and we're telling it to be required. Maybe it needs a legend, I would assume. Let's see. Well, actually, I don't think the legend would make much of a difference. Nope. Legend is not what we need here. Okay. We'll roll with this for now, and then I'll come back and try to reattack the field set required if we have enough time after this demo. So as of now, we see that I can select titles. We see the titles, and then we could also select maybe the potential authors of this book. All right, so we see Adam, we see their values. That's perfect. Okay, so now let's move on to the views, and let me move this part out of the way. All right, so in the views portion, we're working with this functionality now, right? And here, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make sure that we have, first we want to make I think we're going to want to make a list because we want to make sure that what we're receiving from the front end is a valid input, right? So other than my validators, what I can do is I can grab all of those authors. So let's do that real quick. Oh God, my mouth is going crazy. Okay, so valid authors, and these are going to come from the database. So author, and let's make this first name for author in author.objects. Okay, and now I can print my valid authors. I can comment that out. And let's see, author object is not subscriptable. Where is that coming from? Valid author. So author for author and author the objects of all. Oh, easy peasy. Let's turn this into a list. Okay, so we're still getting the author object is not subscriptable.
Yeah, that's returning a query set, right?
Yeah, so it's returning a query set, but I'm turning it into a list. I may have to add the values in there. So hello, academic, Francisco, one, click submit. There you go. Yeah, so I needed to turn it into a list and then also have the values being pulled out of the dictionary. So now I have Francisco, Adam, all of the possible authors that could be there are now being returned to me invalid authors. All right. So now what I need to do is I need to actually check if any of them are inputted in there. So let's construct our response here. So now I want to grab my selected authors. And in my selected authors, that's going to be a list, right? So now I have a list of valid authors, but now I need an actual selected is the selected author. So let's go with for author and valid authors. And in there, what I want is selected authors dot append, and I want to append that author. And actually, instead of just appending the author, I know that I have its first name, so I could just query that in. Where first name is equal to author, and that is not the correct iteration. Okay, so I want that to happen if author is inside of valid authors. Else, I don't want it to do anything. All right. So it's going to go through each individual author inside of valid authors, and then it's going to check if this condition is met. And I don't think I did it for author and valid authors. Well, that's not necessarily testing what's coming back from my response, though. Right? So we'll have to check on that as well as we move on forward. Okay. This is just kind of making a circular loop of just grabbing each individual object. So we'll see, we will have to see and try to make it work in there. All right, so if I were to create, if I were just to grab, let's comment this out for now. And let's work with what we have, and we'll come back and attack that portion. Why are you red? Okay, so now I can say new book is equal to, and in this new book, I want a book instance, and I want to create, right? And when I'm creating, I'm going to want to go into body. Did I comment out the body portion? Let's see. Okay, so let's make that real quick. So we want body is equal to request dot post. Okay, so now that I have that, I want to create it, and the title is going to be equal to body, and inside the body, I'm going to grab title. Okay, what else can I do here? I can grab the quantity. Is equal to body, and make it quantity. So now we have title, we have quantity, and then we also need the fields, right? So category is equal to, and here we're going to, oh, sorry, this would be genre, not category. Genre, the objects, the all, .get, and where, here we want where title is equal to body genre. Okay, and now let's print new book when all of this happens. So go there, we want Francisco and Skylar, let's say we want 2. I send it, and when I print new book, I just get new book 7. But it's actually happening. It's not creating any. Oh, it actually did create it. So it created something, but it doesn't have any actual author. So let's erase that. Okay, so perfect. We have that thus far. Now we just need to grab the authors, right? So what we can do is we can see that the body in itself, when it comes back, yeah, so we can see that the body in itself, when it comes back, One more time. Has the keys of each individual name, right? So maybe in this statement where I'm saying for this for loop that we made here. So I have my valid authors. And instead of saying just this first name, the author, when I'm asking author in validators, I can say, is the author inside of the body? And now let's print selected authors. Okay. Let's go with horror. We want Adam and Skylar. We're gonna make it 1. Okay, and there we go. Now we have our list of Adam and Skylar for selected authors. And now we can add them into our new book by saying new book dot add. Oh no, sorry, dot authors dot add. And there, actually, we could just iterate through the function. Instead of having this array for selected authors, we could probably move this logic in here, huh? So let's do that. Okay, so far everything there is good. I won't need the selected authors, and instead, what I'll do is I'll say new book dot authors dot add, and it's going to add the object if the author is in the body. And selected authors doesn't exist anymore. I will need the add as well. And now instead, the last thing I'll do is I'll say new book dot save. Okay, so let's see that. Okay, we have a little bit of gibberish. Let's erase those. Doesn't seem like it's working. Oh, I see. Because it's reloading, and every time it reloads, it's sending the post request. So I'm just stuck in a circular motion. So maybe I should actually have its own URL for it. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So instead of this book, we'll move that HTML in there. Let's see. So we'll take that out. In this individual book, we'll paste it. And on top, we'll say it's going to extend. And we want a block content. Okay, and so now that that's done, I'm going to need a link to it. So let's put that in the layout. Make that into an href and make it new book. Okay. Now that I have that, I can go over to URLs, create that path. That path can then call use.newBook. And that new book function I'll create it. Going to take in request, and it's going to return render request, and we want pages/book.html. Okay, I go to refresh it, click on new book, page not found, new book doesn't exist, and that is because in my layout I forgot to put a slash. Click on new book. Oh, gotta refresh it. Click on new book. Still can't find it. Why can't you find it? Let's see. Not found / new book.
I think because of the underscore.
Yes, thank you so much. Perfect. So now it takes me to the new book form. I say, hello, this is new. I'm gonna make a horror. Let's have Francisco and Skylar write it. And I want 4 copies. I click submit, sends me back to the main page. If I go all the way down to the bottom, I see, hello, this is new. Francisco and Skylar wrote it. It's horror. I can check out books. Let's delete the gibberish. Okay. Let's see. So every time this window reloads, it looks like it's sending that post request behavior over and over again because of the action that I gave to the post. So what can we do here? So gotta delete all this gibberish. I apologize, everybody. Okay, there you go. We're back to our original 4 books. Okay, so now our form is kind of acting a little weird because of the way it's redirecting us. So let's try to add it into an action inside of this form. I mean, into a target. So let's say that the target, and instead of here, I want this to go to new book. And let's say that the target is the index. Now I can go to the views, take this out. Move it down here. And paste it there. Okay. Awesome. So let's see how that works. I go to new book. Something new. It's already academic. I just want Adam. 2 books. Send the submit. Ooh, interesting. So the target function did send me back to a different URL, but not the original, rather a continuation of the one that I have. So I wonder if I leave this empty, what would it do? Okay, so it looks like this time I created the book correctly, so there was no error. But after creating the book, it didn't redirect me anywhere. So let's add on there a back button, or actually let's do we have time? Do you guys want to see a little bit of research, see if we could figure out how to have a form redirect? How to have
Yes.
HTML form redirect to another page, redirect after submit. Oh, another method after you post, which means for sending data and URL after you post this one. Okay, but I don't want it to go to that URL page. Just pass insertion no context action attribute, which will be pose. Okay, let's see what Stack Overflow has. Or if anyone's doing any research on their side, that would be awesome too.
Looks like a simple like on click. Just move the window location. At least that's where I'm seeing right there on the thing, saying just go to this URL.
Well, would that be have to be an on submit then instead of an on click?
Oh yeah, probably. Otherwise, it's not going to actually submit. I don't. Or you already have something going into. Or no, you don't. No, within the input submit button. Or is that? Or maybe
Yeah,
that's
but the form's being submit. Let me try this one, and then afterwards
Got
I'll
it.
try the other one. Let's see.
If you want to, the Django also has a redirect function. As a return after the submit.
Is that in the form?
In the views, when you come back with the post, at the end of the post's logic, you can give it a redirect. I don't think it's return redirect. I think it's just redirect, and you send it to a different view, so you can load a different page. You'll have to import it, I think, from the same place you did render.
Let's check it out. Nice. Okay, and then let's do redirect. What arguments does it take? Any HTTP response parameter. URL star reverse. Okay, so let's give our URL path a name for home. Oh. And let's go to views and do URL. Ooh, how do I input that? Django dot URLs import reverse. There you go. Okay. So now that I have that, I can reverse it. And I want to reverse it to home view. All right, let's see what that does. Okay, so I go here, get the form. Hello, just one Skylar, one. Seems like the redirect wasn't triggered. Maybe I have to return redirect.
Did you take off the on submit stuff from your HTML?
I did not. That is a good catch. Thank
That
you.
might be tripping over your HTML.
Yeah. Let's see. It's not in layout here. Let's take off this on submit. And okay. Something else. I'm running out of some things to put on there. Okay, it's trying.
I'm not familiar with the reverse. You can just try the redirect to home. That should be all it takes. It's just the URL name.
Just the URL name and stuff.
Yeah, you'll have to return it though. I did look up when I used it.
Dale was mentioning a period. Did you
Just like the render.
Who's mentioning a period?
Dale put
Plus
a
period.
period in the chat. Did you need to put a period? Like
Where?
that notation? You had save, and then right after it you put redirect. So before you had the return statement, you just had the save and then redirect. So I was just wondering, did you need to use? Were you trying to chain it together? Okay, never mind.
No. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. Let's see. Localhost, we go into new book. Something third. And let's go with Adam and Skylar. Put 2 in there. There it is. All right. Awesome. Something third. And then we could start deleting things as we need to, because I made like 30 things. All right. Perfect. And there's the Django form. All right. So in overview today, we went over fixtures. We went over migrations. We went over how to actually create templates, extend our templates, use static files, and CSRF tokens, alternating forms with Django. We went over building our URL paths and building a CRUD application within our views. We went over building our models. More specifically, we went over associations, both in genre by doing a one-to-many and doing an authors, which is a many-to-many field. We went in our views. We had a lot of interaction with our models, and we struggled to learn a couple of things, mostly me with this little last portion of the redirect. And we also went on Axios and how to conduct Axios calls to interact with our views. We also went over decorators, and the last part that we'll need to go over is actually hiding things inside my environment. So let's do that real quick. Oh no, it's not stopping. There you go. Okay. So now when I go to hide things inside of my environment, I'm inside of my project along with my requirements txt. Let's just make sure that everything's inside my requirements txt. Okay, I freezed it. The next thing that I need to do is create an EMV. So I'm just going to go into Vim. And in this EMV, sorry, I'm going to need a Django key. I'm going to save it by using WQ. We see the d.env file pop up here. Now I could go into my settings. Where did you run to? All right, let me clean this up. Again, I apologize for the background noise. My dog's starting to get antsy. Okay, and here, since I know that I got python.env earlier, I can say from .env import load.env. I can import OS, and then I can call the load.env function. From there, I can grab my actual key, take it into my .env, go back into settings, os.environ, called Django, and that right there is going to bring in my .env. Now I can go into my git ignore. I can enter my book storage application, or actually I could just do .env, and it will be able to recognize my .env. We saw how it just went dark. It's because it's able to recognize it. And then the last thing that I wanted to show you guys was just, I wanted to show you guys interacting with your admin portion again. So let's go into admin. Let's say we want to import our models. And let's say we do admin.site.register. And in here, I want to register Let me make sure that I did it correctly. Yes, I did. So in here, I want to register the book. I want to register author, and I want to register genres. After that, I can say Python, manage py, create super user. Key error, none in Django. So let's go in settings. We got os.environ. It's trying to grab Django. I did import OS. Okay. And if I go into my .env, I did not spell Django correctly. All right. Now I can run it. So I'm just gonna press enter. Let's go with admin. And let's get that in there. Now I can just simply end it with admin. Let's go here. I can enter, and when I go to create a book, and let me just collapse this real quick. When I go to create a book, if I want to create a new one, I can go to add book. I can create, I don't know, something from admin. Let's say that I want that many. I can select the genre that I would like, which I didn't give it a dunder method, and that's the reason why it comes up like this. If you give it a dunder method, you'll be able to see the actual genres. And then here it tells me to hold down command or control to be able to select multiples. So I can just click another one, maybe have Benjamin in there as well. And then let's say I save it. And now that book object is actually going to be inside of my application. So now when I go to my application, you see something from admin, Adam, Benjamin, and Skylar being displayed on there. And then this is a really useful tool because when you go to make your fixtures, instead of making your fixtures by hand this way, you could create your models, go into the, register them into the admin site, go into the admin site and make them that way. So that after you do that, you could say Python, manage py, and you could call dump data, and you could call dump data on your book app. And you could say dot, I don't know, let's say book. And it'll give you the exact JSON file of everything that you need to make a fixture in case you need to alter data afterwards. And that's everything that I have for today. At this point, we can go straight into questions. Does anyone have any questions over anything I can do? Desperately need to add a dark mode. You don't have dark mode? Or are you telling me to add a dark mode? Yeah, I zoned that for the last 4 hours. Can you repeat? Oh, rough. I guess that's the whole point of YouTube at this point, huh? Okay.
What does the .env thing hide again?
The .env hides all of my Django secret keys. So if I were using something like the noun project and I had my keys for my API in here, I would put my keys from my API in here and then calling them my views to be able to ping the API and not expose them. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Yeah. Where did you get this one though? The Django equals that one.
So that one came from my settings, py, and it comes from the secret key. I took off the secret key and moved it into the .env and then replaced it with os.environ Django so that I can grab the Django key, because at that point it treats your environment as a dictionary. And I mean your .env by environment, and it grabs the key that you provide for it.
Thank you.
No problem. When you create project, it auto generates that key in your settings py. Oh, you're letting them know. Okay, awesome. All right, no questions at all? Silence, love it. All right, then at this point, I'll conclude our lesson. I hope everyone got something out of it, and please feel free to message me on Slack if you need anything. this will get pushed up to demos and notes, and I will also make sure that the video recording gets pushed into YouTube. Thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate it.